Tell me how this sounds. Today we're going to talk about cutting more strokes from our game. The reason the best golfers in the world are so good at keeping their scores down is because they're able to recover. Golf is a game of recovering from the bad shots. Everybody hits them. It's not just us. Even the pros out there hit a shot that they don't like from time to time. And making the small shots. You could hit a perfect drive, hit a great approach shot that puts you 10 yards off the green, 50 foot from the pin. But how are you going to make par? It's all about your chip. Sure, you could Texas wedge, use your putter, get up there. That's what a lot of people do now. But I think that using your wedges is a lost art, and it can really save you and give you a lot more control. The putter could end up going anywhere. But what if the grass is a little bit too long for a putter? What if you need to use a wedge? What if you need to use an iron? But with your wedges, you always hit it thin or you hit it fat. The ball either doesn't get to where you want it to, or you scull it and it just goes flying over the green every single time. You can never get it to go where you want. This is golf. This is what makes or breaks your round. Shots under 30 yards can ruin your day, or they can make you scream with joy. We've all seen it where somebody hits a shot that nobody was expecting, and even if it's not you, even if it's somebody you're playing with, everybody's excited. Good news. I have tried a ton of different methods with wedges and chipping from all different types of people on YouTube, all over the place. And I'm going to show you what I've found to work the best for me and my process for shots around the green. And for me, it works almost every time. I'm not going to say every time because I'm human, we all hit our bad shots, but almost every time if I set up this way, the ball goes somewhere around where I want it to. No more sculling the ball. That was a big one with me. I would scull it, and like I said before, it would go completely across the green, and I don't really do that anymore. I had a real bad habit of going across the green and into some bunker somewhere. If there was a bunker or water, I would find it. Now I get the ball up, I get it down, and I drop it around where I want to, where it's a manageable putt. So I broke it down into 5 steps for you, like one of my last videos, 5 steps, and we're going to dig into each one in a little bit more depth to help your game. By the way, it's Doug with Golf Reboot, and if this is your first video with us, you're probably asking, why the heck should I be listening to this guy? We all thought it, I get it, you all know that. Here's the thing, I'm working to become a scratch golfer after 14 years away from the game. I was captain of my high school golf team and completely lost my love for the game. I didn't play for over a decade. Now it's back, and I'm sharing my journey and what I've learned with you. So let's dig into it. So step 1 is going to be about the lie of the grass. If you're on the apron to the green, you can kind of do whatever you want. You could take the putter and just chip up with it. You could use your trusty 60 degree, 54, any type of wedge, any club really, to get that little bit of air and get you up and over, especially if it's an uphill. If you're more in the tall grass around the green, you're most likely going to need the wedge. Now, the biggest thing with that, you need to make sure that you're going through with enough force to get the ball up and out of the ground. You want to make sure that you're hitting the ball, it's popping up and going. You don't want to hit too far down onto it, because what that's going to do is that's going to make it roll and potentially not get the air to actually get the distance you need it to go. Now, if you have trouble with different lies and you don't fully understand them, comment down below, let us know, and we'll make something to try to help you out with that. Every course is a little bit different with their lies, with how much they cut their grass. You're going to have all different lengths of grass around, so it really depends where you end up. If you're in the rough, it's going to be more of a full swing to get through. If you're nice and close, you could basically just, you'll see my body move, not the club head. You could basically go like this and possibly get as much as you need. I'll put some inlays in with this video to show the different types, but if you're in the low grass that's around the green, just a nice smooth swing and you'll get it to where you want to go. Now, step 2 is your distance from the ball. If you're chipping and you're within 10 yards or so of the green, even a little bit further out, call it 30, you're going to be closer to the ball than a full swing. Which means instead of, if your club might normally be set up like this, you're going to want it to be more up and down. You're not going to go full 90. You're not going to be at your normal. You're about halfway between the two. This is going to do 2 things. This is going to keep the heel of the club off the ground a little bit, which is going to prevent you from digging in. When you dig in, you could have a fat shot and you're not going to be able to control it. If you stand too upright with it and you have too much toe, you're not going to get the right amount of speed, and you're likely going to have your body be too tight to actually hit the ball. So you want to be maybe 2-3 inches closer to the ball than you would normally be. So this is for distance from the ball. What I would normally do on a regular shot with my wedge, this is a full shot. I'm going to set up behind the ball once I have where I'm aiming, and I'm keeping it back in my stance, and I'm going to be about this far away. Going to give it a little bit of shaft lean, and there we go. Now with a wedge shot, if I'm closer to the green, same concept. I'm going to tip the club up a little bit. You can see that the heel is off the ground, which is going to force me to step in. My feet are going to be closer, and I'm opening up my foot. I'll give another view of this in a minute, keeping everything tight but loose at the same time, and I would come right through. Now the biggest thing, make sure you're following through. You need to be going through, and you'll hear it bounce off the ground. Now if I come from this angle so that you can see my feet a little more, I'm up in the air. I'm about one club width apart, shaft lean, no shaft lean. This is where we want to be. And I'm opening that foot. And then same deal, and that's how I set up for it. And what that's also going to do, it's going to let you get your head more right over where the ball is. Now, in one of our last videos, we talked about putting and we talked about dominant eyes. So you can go back, I'll pop a link up there. You can check that one out, and it'll show you the test to see which your dominant eye. If I get my left eye over the ball and stand a little bit closer, it gives me a lot better control of where I'm going. Step 3 is going to be about foot positioning. So on a normal swing, I'm about shoulder width apart, and I'll post another video there so you can see what I normally set up as. With a wedge, my heels are going to be about one club width apart. So you set up like that. I'll also turn my front foot out a little bit to open it. If I want a high shot, I'm going to keep the ball a little bit forward in my stance. If I want a lower shot, I'll keep it back a little bit more. That helps me control the amount of rollout and the distance I want it to go in the air. Another important part, you don't want to be locked. You want to be loose and moving, but you want to keep your triangle and you want to keep your shoulders level. That'll help you have a nice, smooth motion. Another important thing to think about when you're setting up with your iron, a lot of times you're going to lean the shaft forward. When you're chipping, you don't want. You want to keep a little bit forward, slightly forward of center. And what that's going to do, you're going to have less compression on the ball, and it's going to help you get the ball up in the air. Now, you don't want to be scooping under it. You want to keep your shoulders straight and come through and use the club to get under the ball and pop it up in the air. Now, as far as shaft lean, on a normal shot, you might see me set up like this. For this, I'm staying back a little more, a little bit of shaft lean, a little bit closer, and the shaft is almost centered on my body. Not fully back, not all the way forward, but here. So that when you take the swing, you're keeping your shoulders level, and you're coming through. And here's something else a lot of people don't think about. If you look at a wedge, you have this portion down at the bottom. This is my 60. This is called the bounce. Now what this will do is it'll help bounce off the ground. So if I have the club like this, it's going to bounce. If you have too much shaft lean like we talked about before, you could dig into the ground. If you have the club too far backwards, you could end up sculling the ball. So we'll show that again. Here's the ball. Shaft lean forward, you're going to dig in. We do not want that here. Backwards, once you come through, you hit the ball there, and you're going to send it right across the green. Neither of those is good. You want to keep it fairly center so that you can bounce and swoop under the ball and pop it up in the air. You're generally looking to hit this area of the club. You can see where I normally hit. I'm a little bit out towards the toe. Not necessarily perfect, but I'll play it. So when you hit the bounce on the ground, you can hear that hitting. That's the bounce coming through. Now, as far as the bounce, you can see the bounce, you'll feel the bounce. That's the noise you want to hear. Now this is carpet as opposed to grass, but it's the same concept. You're bouncing off and you're coming through the ball. You go like this, you're going to dig in and it's going to stop you. That's because the front of the club is catching. So keep it up, come through the bounce. So what do you all think about the bounce? Do you think it actually helps you? Do you understand the point of it? If you do, comment below. If you don't, comment down below. Let's get a conversation going about the bounce and why it's on the wedges. Can you feel the difference between your irons and a club like a 60 that has a bigger bounce? Can you tell the difference when you're hitting the grass? Now, something else you can do a bump and run. You don't necessarily need to use a wedge. You can use anything from a 5-iron, 9-iron, anything like that. Biggest things, you want to make sure that you're a little bit more upright and you're taking not a full swing. You're coming back, you're coming through, depends how far you need to go. That's an extra little tip there. I use that sometimes. Like I said, I like my wedges. If I need to, I can use my irons to do basically the same thing. If I need to get further on the green, if I'm off the green but still 30, 40 yards away, I might use a 7-iron to get a little bit of height but get a lot more roll. My 60 degree is more for if I'm closer and I want the ball to stop. So those are my 5 tips for having pro-like chips. I prefer to lob the ball as opposed to the bump and run, but I also spend a lot of time knowing my wedges and the different distances I can hit with each one of them. And I generally use a 9 o'clock swing, and I gap the wedges with the areas that I grip. So I have different distances for the top of the grip, the middle of the grip, and lower on the grip, all with a 9 o'clock swing. Each has their place, whether it's with the wedge or a bump and run. And in the future, I'm going to do another video on my wedge gapping method. I saw a video on that and I really like it because it's the same swing every time, different area you're gripping it, and different distances where you can really control what you're trying to do. For now, try those steps, change your game, and beat everyone you play with. Keep an eye out for more videos on chipping and making your game better. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see that can help you, definitely comment down below. The whole point of this channel is not just to follow my journey becoming a scratch golfer, but to help all of you understand the game and play the game better. Whether you're a beginner or you're somebody trying to get better at the game, my goal is to help you do that. Also, if you want more tips and tricks, go to the link in the description and join our online community where you'll get a newsletter sent to you with different tips and tricks. We email them out regularly and we're going to be growing that over time. So click the link in the description and sign up for that now. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought about it, and make sure to watch the video that's going to be popping up over here in a second to see more of what we're doing. See you next time.